Welcome to the Connecting with Care podcast, where we believe in valuing humanity, engaging spirituality, and promoting equity through our teaching, research, and service. I'm Curtis Isozaki.
And I'm Zach Winterrowd. Today, we're excited to talk with Professor Sarah Ritter, the MSW Program Director at the Garland School of Social Work. She'll be sharing how the school's unique competency-based education prepares social workers to lead and make an impact in both clinical and community settings.
That's right. We'll dive into the school's small class sizes, the focus on leadership development, and how students can specialize in areas like trauma-informed care, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and gerontology.
Plus, we'll get into Sarah's personal journey at the Garland School and what makes this program so special for future social workers. Let's jump in.
All right. Hello, Sarah. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today. Excited to get to know you and a little bit more about the Garland School of Social Work.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to chat with you.
Well, our topic today is understanding social work, competency-based education, and we're just excited to get an overview of really an evolving field that is social work, and excited to hear a little bit about the importance of community and clinical specializations and maybe various challenges that may be facing the social work profession today. So you ready to dive right in?
Let's do it.
Would you be able to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Sarah Ritter. I am a clinical associate faculty and the MSW program director at the Garland School. So I have an administrative role that oversees the MSW program, both our online and residential campuses. And I am faculty, so I get to teach a lot of classes, mostly practice classes.
Fantastic. Well, by tradition, we are going to start off with some rapid fire questions. And so, are you ready for that?
Okay, let's go.
All right. So, what is one word to describe Waco, Texas?
Surprising.
Surprising. Fantastic. What's your go-to order at your favorite coffee shop?
I'm kind of boring. I'm more of a coffee and oat milk kind of girl, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Do you have a favorite coffee shop in Waco?
I don't know if I have a favorite one, but I do really like Lighthouse, which is just down the street from the Garland School. They have a lot of great coffees. They also have this lavender syrup that if I do want anything in my coffee, that is what I want.
Lavender syrup. I have to try that next time that you and I go. We frequented Lighthouse together, which has been great. And so excited to see more students enjoy our Lighthouse coffee shop down the street. Okay, so last rapid fire question. If the Garland School of Social Work had a mascot, what would it be and why?
Okay, besides a bear.
Okay.
So we already got the bear thing going at Baylor. I think a meerkat.
Okay.
Hear me out.
All right.
I think a meerkat because these are highly social animals. If you ever go to the zoo and you see them out, there's always a couple that are kind of watching out for the rest of the community.
Okay.
They live in community. They value community. I don't know if they value relationships. I would like to think they probably do. And those are things that I think are true about the Garland School as well.
All right, fantastic. Well, Nikki, you heard it here first. We have a mascot idea for a brand new Garland School of Social Work kind of swag. And so as we dive into understanding social work competency-based education, just have a few questions, Sarah, just as just the program director of the MSW programs, looking forward to kind of hearing more of your perspective. And so how have you seen the Garland School of Social Work prepare social workers for worldwide service and leadership?
Yeah, so I think one thing to know about me is I'm an alum of the Garland School. So I got my bachelor's of social work at the Garland School, and that experience really shaped and formed my my career trajectory and the things that I've been able to do. So even as an undergraduate, we had faculty who are still here actually, who were very intentional about the ways that they built in leadership, practice and theory into the curriculum. Our practicum experiences provide a lot of leadership opportunities for students at all levels of practice, whether they're doing kind of that one-on-one practice or whether they're doing more big picture community organizing kind of practice. I also think it's just part of who we are. We want our students to be leaders. We think we prepare really competent social workers, to use your word. I think because of the foundation that I got in my undergrad experience, when I did go get my master's degree, when I worked in the field of social work for over a decade, I was gifted with a lot of leadership opportunities. And I trace a lot of that back to the foundations that I had at the Garland School.
Fantastic. And as you think about the field of social work over the time that you've been practicing social work, have been involved and connected to the Garland School of Social Work, how has the field of social work evolved in our world today?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the data now says that social workers are the largest mental health providers in the United States. That has been an evolving trend, a really exciting one for our students and for the profession, and means that we want to be really intentional about how we're preparing our students. I think that ideally a social worker wants to create a world where we don't need social workers. But the social justice issues of our times really mean that social workers are more critical and important to the work of human flourishing and well-being.
Yeah, love that. Love that word said. Just the work of social work is so essential to just the work of human flourishing and well-being. What is competency-based social work education? It's important to our field, being connected to NASW and CSWE. What is competency-based social work education?
Yeah, that seems like a big word, right? Mm-hmm. And to break it down, essentially we're saying that actually there are things we want our students to learn. We know most of our students who come to us have an innate desire to be helpers. They want to do good in this world. They want to make a difference in the lives of individuals and communities. They have that passion. We want to take that passion and merge it with the skills and abilities to help in ways that are evidence-based and that are helpful and not hurtful, and that actually do support clients and communities in achieving the goals that they want to. So we think having the desire to help is wonderful. We think service is great. And we also know that there's ways to do that that are more helpful than others. So when you think about other professions, you might think about other helping professions as nursing or being a doctor or being a lawyer. You would never want someone who was a nurse who had not gone to school and met certain criteria and benchmarks and certain competencies to come in your room and say, well, I had a lot of years of experience, volunteering in an ER, so now I think I can be your nurse. You might look at that nurse and say, I would like someone else to do my IV today. And so it's the same kind of concept for social work, right? Is that we want to take that desire to help to change our world, and we want to put some structure around it and some ways that students can be competent in their practice after they graduate. So that's what competency-based education means.
Fantastic. And so how would you best describe the importance and impact of social workers with either community or clinical specialization?
Yeah, so the specializations, we have kind of a way that we do social work education, which is we have kind of the generalist understanding of social work. So these are the things that all social workers, no matter how you choose to do your practice with a more community specialization or clinical, that we want all social workers to know. And as you advance into the program, at that point, you choose if you want to be a clinician or if you want to do more macro or community social work. And so we make sure that those specializations are more tailored, they're more specialized, I use that word a lot, and they're unique to that particular kind of work. So when I think about clinical work, you're really thinking about someone who might be interested in doing therapy, who might be interested in doing one-on-one kind of interventions, group work. These often are hospital social workers or community-based mental health social workers. When we think of community specialization, we're thinking of students who really have a desire to make that broader society impact. So people who are interested in policy, people who are interested into the way systems impact individuals, so community organizers, folks who are running organizations and programs and are looking at How are we know what we're doing, and how do we know we're doing it well? How are we thinking about leadership and community and economic development to further enhance the well-being of underserved communities?
Fantastic. And so as students engage in social work education here at the Garland School, they have options for community specialization, clinical specialization, and then we have these optional concentrations as well. And so how do the MSW concentrations, organizational leadership, trauma-informed practice, and diversity, equity, inclusion prepare students for their field?
Yeah, so at the Garland School, these are 3 specific concentrations that we do really well. We have faculty that are experts in each of these topics, and we try to infuse a lot of it into our curriculum in a holistic manner. If students are very interested in one of these 3 kind of concentrations, for example, we have a lot of students who are very interested in trauma-informed practice because we know that trauma impacts both individuals and communities. And so they would take this opportunity in their specialized year to do more tailored work towards that concentration. So they take classes that are connected to the concentration. They would sign up for a faculty mentorship opportunity that kind of focused on that area, either organizational leadership, diversity, equity, inclusion, or trauma-informed practice. And then they would complete a capstone topic, a colloquium on that topic. And these are optional. They're not things students have to do. They're extra learning opportunities. And if the student successfully completes the concentration, that is a designation that goes on their final transcript.
There are so many options across higher education for social work education. Of all the different schools, why should students choose to study at the Diana R. Garland School of Social Work versus on any other choice that they could make across the U.S.?
Well, because we're the best, obviously.
Of course.
But truly, I know investing in your education in a master's degree, it's a lot, it's a big commitment. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of money. It should require a lot of thought. And I know that we do it really well. We have small class sizes. We make sure that we have a practicum team and placement process, both for our online and Waco campuses, that really considers the whole student and what they need. It's a tailored experience. You don't go find your own practicum. We help you and support you throughout that process. But we have over, I think, 1,000 practicum placements across the greater United States. We have relationships in Waco that run decades long. So we have these partnerships that are really unique, and we value the relationships of those partnerships. And we value the relationships with our students. Our students have a lot of opportunities to engage with faculty around practice and research. We have programs like an integrated behavioral health program that provides clinical students with training to work in underserved primary care settings. We have opportunities for students to engage at a pretty deep and meaningful level, not just with each other, but with the faculty and staff at the Garland School. And I think that is something that is unique, particularly to us, that even as we've grown as a program, we have maintained the importance of that connection. And then, of course, the reality is that we believe in the whole person, and so we consider spirituality and faith a big part of that. Being centered in a Christian university serves us in this way. We know not all our clients are Christians, but we know that maybe their faith or spirituality is important to them. And so being able to acknowledge that and wrestle with that with our students, whatever their faith backgrounds may be, actually is really meaningful to them and to our clients. So I think those are the things that make us a little bit unique and different.
How would you describe the day in the life of a Garland School of Social Work MSW student?
Ooh, I don't know. I'd want to know that answer from them. I think, they're busy. So, at our Waco campus, most of them come to classes about 2 full days a week. So you have kind of these dedicated class times. And then at least 2 to 3 days a week, you're in your practicum placement. So you are connecting with each other on a couple of days and your faculty, and you're getting that learning, and then you're going out and you're practicing it. And we have placements all across the city that provide really valuable learning experiences to our students, everywhere from schools to hospitals to mental health clinics to collective impact organizations, to the city of Waco. So you get the benefit of having that academic knowledge with the applied learning.
What is the process and experience of being a graduate assistant?
Yeah, that is one of my favorite things that we provide students. It's a competitive process, so you kind of get sent an application either after you deposit or if you're already a student at some point in the spring and you apply to be a graduate assistant. And these positions vary. They can be everything from you have them in the recruitment office to help new students who might be interested in our program understand what a day in the life is. And we have students that say, no, I'm really interested in research. And so I try to make these pairings unique to what the student is interested in and what the student's skills are and what the faculty's interest in and what the faculty's skills are. And so they can be really meaningful and long-lasting relationships. And so students who engage in these work opportunities, they're paid positions. They're about 10 hours a week. We find that's about what students can manage with, practicum and classes. But students who engage them find a lot of value out of them. They get a lot of skills. They get relationships with faculty. Some of them who choose to and are interested get to publish with faculty, although that's not a requirement. So they're really pretty meaningful and provide a lot of great mentorship opportunities. We have students who've done these positions and then ended up going on to get PhDs. And then we've had students who've done these positions and stayed connected with their faculty and have been able to reach out and seek guidance and mentorship even as they launch their social work careers.
Incredible. So wrapping our time up together, what advice would you give a prospective student exploring their career in social work at the Garland School?
We're excited to have you. We're glad you're here. I think I would say social work is probably broader than you think it's going to be. And I feel pretty confident that we do a great job preparing really great social workers. So I always encourage students to know their options. And I also say, I really believe in the work that we're doing. And I think we're doing it really well. And I think we're preparing students to not only have successful careers, but to make an impact in the communities that they're in. And so my advice is to be yourself, be authentic, and consider what you might also be bringing to the table here at the Garland School and the way you can also contribute to the life of the schools, to the practicums that you're in, and to your colleagues as you go throughout the program.
Fantastic. I think that's wonderful advice for students coming into the Garland School of Social Work, able to be themselves and provide the gift of their presence in our community. And so thank you so much, Sarah. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having me, Curtis. Great to talk with you.
What an insightful conversation. It was so great to hear Professor Sarah Ritter share how the Garland School empowers students to be leaders and advocates in the social work field.
Absolutely, Curtis. The focus on community, leadership, and specialized training really stands out. If you're considering social work, the Garland School has a lot to offer.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Connecting with Care podcast. We look forward to seeing you next time.